What's up, gang? What's up, everybody? Welcome back. If you're new to the channel, I go by Zombie. I'm passionate about, self improvement and spirituality. And it's interesting how the two actually, correlate when you get into it. But me personally, I've been studying astrology for 2 years. And over the past, couple years, maybe few years at this point, I've been, understanding and realizing that it really can be a powerful tool for self-discovery and learning more and understanding more about yourself and how you operate on a more spiritual level. And so there's value in that. And one of the goals of this channel, one of my goals with this channel is to be able to articulate and convey that, right, to someone who may be new to the concept. And so 12 signs of the zodiac. All right, this video is about the fourth sign, Cancer. And so let's jump right in. So if you're born from June 21st to July 22nd, you are a Cancer. Congratulations on my Cancers out there. So in astrology, certain planets, certain celestial bodies, because like the moon isn't technically a planet, but it's considered a planet in astrology. And so every sign has a ruling planet, right? Corresponding planet, as well as house, excuse me. And so the moon is the ruling planet for Cancer. And all that really means, the term ruling just means is the sign sort of personifies the energy, and the energy associated with said planet, right? So Cancers are typically, emotional, most definitely. And you can kind of equate that to how the moon controls like the tides, right, and the ocean and the waves, the rise and the fall of the current. And so Cancers are emotional and they can be moody in that same sense. And so the house, fourth house, right? There's 12 houses, just like there's 12 signs, right? So the fourth house, similar to being associated with, that the energy of that sign, right? The energy of, said planet, the energy of the moon, right? Again, very emotional. Fourth house specifically, though, as a house, refers to, because houses are just areas of life, right? So, or aspects of life. So the fourth house refers to the family, right? Your family aspect of life, right? Your roots, your childhood growing up, traditions in a sense, right? Cancers can be very traditional in a sense that, they sometimes cling strongly to, what they've been taught growing up, right? And especially like especially I would say on like a personal belief, like religious, moral, like anything like that type of level. And so, yes, the fourth, excuse me, the fourth house also, again, like I said, the home, also a very sensitive area, right? A very sensitive area, being ruled by the moon. The moon in astrology, you can think of it as not necessarily your subconscious, not necessarily your emotions, but how you react to your emotions, right? So someone with a more sporadic sign, maybe in their moon placement, like a fire sign or something, they might deal with their emotions in a more sporadic way. So the moon is very, heavily associated with your emotions as well as your intuition, right? And so the duality is feminine, right? As a water sign, Cancers, their energy is definitely on the more feminine side. The emotional, is what it is, right? You can't deny it, right? Now, I will say there's everything that comes with balance, right? So everyone has natural levels of masculine as well as feminine energy. However, like overall, again, as a water sign, Cancer is definitely more so on the feminine side. So moving on to the mode and the element, right? In astrology, there's three modes. You have your cardinal, your fixed, and your mutable. And the modes are basically just another way of analyzing and dissecting and figuring out more about, personality type and displacement in a sense. So cardinal, just the term cardinal, right? Cardinal mode, excuse me, just refers to, I would say, like leadership and like initiate an initiative, or initiator, excuse me, initiator. Those are like the best words I can think to just describe the term cardinal, right? So the cardinal signs are Cancer, Aries, Capricorn, and Libra, right? And we all know Aries can be big on like starting projects, even though they might not finish it sometimes. They're definitely natural, initiators. Now, Cancer as a water sign, right? Because that's the element, right? It's water. It's very emotional. It's very subconscious. It's very intuitive, imaginative, right? So, the cardinal aspect of that is not really in like a active sense, right? Like I said with like Aries, but if you do have a Cancer that's close to you, they definitely have like a gift for being able to, I guess you could say they're natural empaths in a sense most of the time, being water signs, of course, but they can definitely read you pretty well, especially if like I said, they're close to you, because the thing about Cancers, again, the home and family is such a big, a big focus for Cancers, right? So if they consider you family, they really, they really love you, right? They really fuck with you. They really fuck with you, and they can tell when something's off. So, the cardinal, excuse me, but getting back to my point, the cardinal, uh, energy there can be seen where it's like you might be going through something, and maybe, of course, you always, if you have something on your mind, right? But maybe it's, getting to a point where you might not notice it's as bad as it is, right? So your Cancer friend's gonna come along and they're gonna see that and they're gonna let you know, right? And so that could kind of initiate, the healing process if you choose to confront that. And so that's how I would apply that to Cancer energy. And so, excuse me, body part associated with Cancer would be the chest slash breast, right, women, and the stomach, and I would also say the womb as well, most definitely, because the moon is very nurturing. Cancer is a very nurturing sign, right? Motherhood is very Cancerian, right? So it's heavy moon energy there. So, and also the moon is one of like the main feminine. The moon and Venus are like the main feminine, like archetypal, excuse me, like energies in astrology, right? And so it's kind of like a mother and maiden thing with the moon and Venus. And so the chakra associated with, Cancer, associated with the moon, would be the third eye, right? Your pineal gland, right? In science or whatever. So, so the chakra would be your third eye. Again, the pineal gland is essentially this little organ, right? And like, or little gland, right? In the center of your, somewhere like in here, right? The center of your brain. And its main function is extrasensory perception. And all that basically means is, how you have your five physical senses and you can sense things on the physical realm. Well, if your pineal gland isn't calcified, right? If it isn't basically damaged, or it's functioning and it's healthy, right? I know you've by now, especially in 2023, you're aware of some people that have extrasensory gifts and things like that. You might consider that schizophrenic or delusional or whatever you want to call it. However, that is closely associated with the pineal gland and its natural function within the human body if operating at optimal level, right? If you're healthy, right? Basically, healthy person. And so again, that comes with natural intuition and natural, imagination, natural empathy to a degree. And so the colors associated with Cancer would be silver and white, of course, and crystal slash the gemstone. Is, however, you can call it a rock, right, if you want to, but I usually just call them crystals. So the crystal associated with Cancer was definitely, the main one is definitely the pearl, right? Definitely the pearl. And crystals and gemstones, they have significance, right? They are significant to the zodiac and things like that, because everything emits a frequency, right? And so the frequency of certain crystals and certain plants and even certain oils, like everything corresponds to a planetary frequency, a planetary energy, because all these frequencies that are emitted, whether you believe that that's true or not, they are at the same time, they exist within our around us, right? On a level that we can't sense on with our physical senses, but that's where your pineal gland, comes into play. So yeah, Pearl most definitely associated with Cancer energy. Pearl is definitely excuse me, Pearl as a gem or whatever you want to term it as is definitely a good mood stabilizer. I would say Ruby is associated with Cancer. Ruby, I wouldn't like put that at number one, but definitely associated with Cancer as well. And Moonstone and Selenite. I should put Selenite on here, but Moonstone and Selenite are both good for, opening your third eye chakra, balancing your third eye. If it's overactive. And so moving right along. Also, Cancer, my bad. Cancer is symbolized by the crab, and I feel like part of that symbolism is because sometimes cancers can be like obsessive or like possessive because they do like care so much and they kind of like cling on to things, right? They have a hard time letting go sometimes. So, a few basic character traits for Cancer. I would say the positives, definitely nurturing, definitely like I said, they'll support you emotionally, definitely protective if they care for you, and like cancers aren't really I'm not gonna sit here and say they're natural fighters, right? Because they're not like, unless like you have like Mike Tyson, right? Who's just a fucking beast, right? And he's a Cancer. But most of the time cancers, I would say they try to avoid situations like that if they can. Not to say they're like scary or anything like that, but it's just more so their approach, I guess, is the best way you can put it. But that's only if it doesn't have to do with their family. Like you know that's when it's a whole different situation, because like again, fourth house, the moon, Cancer, very very family oriented, and they care a lot about, like I said, people they consider family and their actual family. And so if they were to be in danger or something like that, then it would be a whole different discussion. But again, loyal, very loyal friends, very loyal people, Cancers, if you guys are locked in, right? Now, natives, Cancers can be resentful. Again, they care. They really, when they say they care, they really do. And sometimes, maybe that can be a little too much. Maybe that can be more than they're caring about themselves at the time. However, if they feel as though they're putting more energy into you or a situation, right, than they're receiving, then they can become resentful. And then especially if you guys just happen to stop, talking or anything like that, then they can, be kind of like, they can kind of have like a slight vendetta, especially if they feel like, you did them wrong or some shit like that, or treated unfairly. And I put paranoid on here because of the third eye influence. I feel like cancers, I don't want to call them delusional, right? But I feel like water signs in general, because they are so intuitive, that can, especially with Pisces, most definitely can lead to delusions sometimes, and a little bit of paranoia and worrying, especially with Scorpio, the worrying and the fear and the anxiety, like worrying about a little bit things a little bit too much. And that's where you just need to like take a breath sometimes and like chill. So mood swings, again, you think about the moon and like how it controls the tides. Cancers as a water sign, being very, as a cardinal water sign, right, being arguably the most emotional sign of the zodiac. They definitely can, I guess sometimes be seen as bipolar. You can have mood swings. It can go from being happy to being sad. But that can be a beautiful thing, right? That can be a challenging thing. However, you choose to deal with it as an individual. But that was Cancer energy. And next, I'm gonna be doing Leo. I hope everyone is staying safe, having a great day, and peace.